Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. You can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. And yes, I know. You're like, where have y'all been? Like, seriously, you give us a schedule, you tell us to tune in at this time, and then you don't show up. Yes, I know. I know. Me and myself and Logan have actually been outside this past weekend. I went outside. I went to a beautiful wedding for my nephew, Donovan. If you've seen the Ringside channel, you've probably seen him before. So I had to go to a beautiful wedding for my nephew Donovan. Logan who was working. And so we had to shift some things and push them aside because we always going to come back on Monday to do it. But then Monday got so busy, y'all. When I tell you it was so busy, Monday got so busy with a lot of stuff here on the podcast. And by the time I was getting ready to do this for the Monday episode, for episodes 10 and 12, it was like an hour before the next episode dropped. So I was like, it doesn't make sense to do that. So I was like, I'll just do all of them in one sitting. So I'm going to do episode 10, episode 12, and then I watched episode 13. So we're going to do it all together. And tomorrow we will be back on schedule. We will have tonight's episode and we're recording it, on Wednesday, so on tomorrow. So we are going to be back on track. But sometimes when you have to do things, life happens, and you have to touch grass. It happens. It happens. But I am back. We are here. We are back in the building, and I still have my cup mug and you can get your cup mug at quantitycreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get your cup mug, period. Trying to get my light to come on, y'all. That's why you see me like I'm trying to get this light to come on so I can have all the light that I need, but it's not working. It's not working. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Okay, cool. So, y'all, yes, I am back. I'm here. We're doing Love Island. We're going to talk all about it. But before we do, I just need y'all to do me a solid, do me a favor. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. We truly appreciate all the support. But we are trying to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. We are in October, close to October, and we're not there yet. And we really, really need your help. So if you would continue to support, get your friends, if they are a fan of reality television, competitive reality television, or anything like that, this is the channel for them. We talk about all the things. Even if we're off schedule, we get to around to it. But we're usually on schedule. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. We're usually on schedule. We usually are. But if you're a fan of competitive television, reality television, this is the channel for you. We just wrapped up Big Brother and Project Runway, but we're right in the midst of Survivor 49, The Amazing Race. We're in Love Island Games, and we got Traders, Celebrity Traders UK. We got Big Brother UK going on right now. So we got shows happening and more to come. So if you're a fan of any of those shows, hit us up. Subscribe to this channel. But if you're a fan of drag race, you can follow us at the Cup Pod. And if you are a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, you can follow us at the Cup ESC. All those links will be in the description below. In our link tree, you can click it and subscribe to those channels as well. Because guess what? They are also trying to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. Um, Our audio podcast links are down in the description as well. So if you check us out on the go, that is the place to do it. Click that and you'll follow us over there. Our Patreon is open. So we have a lot of fun things going on and happening in our Patreon now and coming up very soon. So you want to see some fun things that we do behind the scenes here on the Cup, check out our Patreon as well as our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. If you've ever thought about wanting to be on a podcast, have you said, I want to be on a podcast. I want to talk about Love Island games or the Amazing Race or Drag Race, any international drag race or anything like that, hit us up on our Instagram DMs because that is where you can reach us the quickest and we will get right back to you as soon as we can. We're looking for new voices. We want to hear new people talking about their love and their passions and things like that. So if you're interested, if you ever wanted to join a podcast, we're opening the invitation to you. So let us know and we will get back with you. Now, you guys. Mm. Love Island games. Love Island games is heating up. It's doing its big one, and I'm going to talk all about it. Now, I might not go in linear because it's 3 episodes. I'm going to give you the summation of all 3 episodes, but trust, I got all the information, all the tea, all the drama, because baby, these 3 episodes was drama, petty, drama, petty, drama, all the way around. All the way around, y'all. So I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna scooch on over here so we can get into the visuals. Because once we left off, we just left off of episode 9, and we saw Tyreek and Tyreek giving us his game plan. That was one of the last things we saw in the episode. Tyreek giving us his game plan on what he plans to do because his feelings was hurt because Justine didn't pick him and she picked Josh over him. And so his feelings were hurt. And even though he won't say that, but we know what it is. The man's feelings was hurt. He was hurt. He was hurt. Yeah. And he telling Toby his whole plan on how he go get Justine back, get his lick back on Justine. And I'm just like, ugh. As I said, petty, petty, petty. But you know what? Okay. Okay. And I personally was like, he ain't gonna be able to do it. He's not gonna be able to do it. None of this is gonna work. His pettiness, his foolishness, none of it's gonna work. It's not gonna work. And we see on we see during Love Island during the next episode we have um conversations different um with different different islanders, um different islanders talking about how the recoupling went, people who are happy in their couples, people who are happy with what happened, where they landed, and all of that stuff. Not really a lot went on earlier because a lot of just conversations on, you know, after the recoupling and things have shifted and everybody was back to where they were. People were happy that they were with their couples. We see the Kendall Garby situation kind of play itself out. Um, well, with Garby not really liking the way Kendall came at her about the decision she made during that game because the game showed Garvey was spending a lot of her stuff into Isaiah and Lucinda. And Lucinda, of course, was so mad. Like, Garvey's out to get me. Like, she's so, something's so weird about her. She's so weird about her. I don't know what it is. Something's so weird about her. And I think she's coming for me. Like, she doesn't like me or something's so weird about her. That's my attempt of a British accent. I know it's not great, but something so weird about her. And She tells Kendall that she feels like Garvey was coming for her and she doesn't know why. She doesn't know why she would do that. She thought they were friends and maybe they're not. Maybe it's because of her relationship with Kendall and how, how close they are and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know why people or why women always go to, she must be jealous of me because of my relationship with you. That's why she's acting this way. Maybe she just don't like you because she don't like you. Ain't got nothing to do with the relationship. But this ain't even that. Garvey does not like her. It never said she didn't like her, but she's just like, oh my God, it's just something I don't know. And then she's warning Kendall. She just has a dark side, and you might want to watch out for that. What? Garvey? We talk about Garvey, right? Yeah. I was so like, what do you mean? What are you even talking about? Like, why is that even an issue? Why is that even a conversation? You could be upset. She was valid for being upset that, Garvey was putting a lot of the stuff into their baskets or their bucket or whatever. But like to just immediately go to she's jealous. She's jealous because of our relationship, how we are we're besties in here and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, no, 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 like absolutely not. It's just weird. It's just simply weird. But whatevs. But then Kendall does not make it any better because then he goes to Garby and he's telling her how he's just like, well, really, it sounded very accusatory. Like, are you just mad because, like, why did you do that? And Garby's telling him, I didn't mean to do that. It wasn't like I was planning to do it. It's just every time I went to the bucket, went to the table, that was where it was. I just wanted to get it out my mouth. And she was like, I wasn't actively looking for their bucket. It just happened to be there. And I was just, just trying to get it out and spit it out. And he was like, are you just, is it because of the relationship that me and Garby have? I mean, that me and Lucinda have that we like you are like jealous or something? And hold on, Kendall. Hmm, who are you to think that Garby is actually jealous? Who are you? Like, whatever. Garby is like, I can't believe you are coming like this. Like, why would I? Like, what? And so she's just upset, not, yeah, frustrated at the fact that he's coming like that at her. Like, what is happening? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you even think that that's what's going on here? It's literally not. But she's so mad. She's so frustrated. She walks away because she can't deal with the foolishness that Kendall is bringing to her right now. It's just so frustrating. And so all that happens. She does go eventually talk to, um, she does eventually go talk to Lucinda and try to hash it out. Let's get into, because this is the couples that we had at this point. Let's talk about them. So she does go talk to Lucinda and tells her, like, no, it's not malicious. No, it wasn't me just purposely coming to put stuff in yours. It just so happened that that's where it was. I will come over. The table is spinning. I spit. I was just trying to get that out my mouth. I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. I don't not want you to be here. I do like you. I do consider you a friend here and da da da. And Lucinda's like, I get it. It's fine. It's fine. But in her confession, like, I forgive, but I never forget. And I was like, okay, whatever. Sure, sure. You don't have to forget. You do not have to forget. But if you want to forgive, sure. But they kind of squash it. Um, we see Kendall and Garby eventually just move on. They never really say we're good or they just kind of just like, we gonna move on. We squash it. It's whatever. I don't know. I'm still not fully on board with Kendall. I think Garby's great, but never going to fully be on board with Kendall, me personally. let's keep it moving because this is the next couple. Johnny and Drina at the time were safe. Um, Johnny had conversations with Andrina about her competitive nature, the lack of vulnerability between them. Like she was very, guarded, and she doesn't open up. And he's just like, the conversations are draining, they're not stimulating, it's just not happening right there between them. She's gorgeous, but that's just as he said, being good looking is just a prerequisite to what I want in a relationship. And I want it to be able to stimulate my mind. And, we talk and it's, more than surface level. And he has that conversation with Andrina. And she listens. She's like, I hear you. I know what you, and she said, I'm very guarded. I've always been that way. She's like, I don't open up, but I will, try to be that for you. I will try to open up more. And he's like, that's all I really want. I just want you to like get in the game, be open, because if this is something we're building towards, is be, I would love for us to be more compatible, mind, body, and soul. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing because you definitely want someone who is going to match your energy, match how you feel and move and do things. Like that was never the bad thing. And it was mature a little bit that he went and talked to her about it, and that she was mature, that she was open and, willing to listen and was willing to learn. So I appreciated that from him and from her. She has a conversation with Andrea and just telling her, what the conversation that her and Johnny had and how she's going to try to do more and be more open. So, and Andrea was like, that's all you should do. That if that's the, you can do that. You are a beautiful girl. You if this is what you want, you have to, meet people halfway, all kind of stuff. Great. Um, so at that point, she's willing. She's willing. Um, this next couple was Marvin and Nicola. They had both chose. They had, you know, they were still chilling. Nothing really happening with them. Really, nothing happened with them. So we go keep it moving. Isaiah and Lucinda, same thing. Nothing really happened with them. So we move. Andrea and Josh, they were happy to be back together. They were happy to finally be back together. They're a couple again. They were, they were happy. That was it. They cuddled in bed, all the stuff but couples do, because they're happy to be together. Justine and Tyreek. After all the shenanigans that went on between these two, of this was Justine had picked Josh and not Justin picked her, so what Tyreek. Tyreek, of course, like we said, was mad that he was, that Justine did that. So he was plotting his revenge. He was plotting how he was going to make this happen. And in this episode, he did just that. Um, so like I said, nothing happened until the very end. And so that's where we're going to go with this episode. Because they see Tyreek pulls Justine as they're getting ready for the night, for the things that went on during the night. Um, he pulls Justine to the speakeasy, and they go down there and talk because they had a conversation earlier where he was like, because he had told her the prior day that he wouldn't go do no cuddling, no kissing, no, no breakfast, none of that. That's done. And he just go talk strategy. Since they're in a couple, they only go talk strategy. That's it. Then he's decided he was gonna go with his plan and he was gonna switch it up. So he started switching it up a little bit and he pulled Justine to talk. He was, wrapping his arms around her. He was trying to talk to her, he's cuddling, flirting and all that stuff. And she mentioned like the switch up is crazy. The switch up is interesting with you. He was like, I mean, I slept on it. I learned, I realized it wasn't that, big of a deal, blah, blah, blah. He playing. He playing. And so he's like, flirting with her then. So then when he pulls it to speak easy, he's still flirting with her heavy. He's telling her all the things she wants to hear. He's, kissing her and telling her that they are a good couple. He really likes her. He really wants to be there with her, blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff. All the stuff is going on. All the stuff is happening. They're, you know, having a moment in the speakeasy. Right when everybody the guys go find out and look out and see these two big packages sitting in the middle of everything. And so they're like, oh my God, what is this big gift sitting out there? So they go run and find everybody. They find Justine and Tyreek in the speakeasy, let them know that there's gifts out there. The girls see it, there's gifts. Everybody's like, oh my God, what is this? So they go out, take a seat. Ariana comes out and she's like, I see you got my gifts. We got gifts, and inside the gifts. Oh, wait, I forgot about them. I forgot about them. Nothing happened with them either. So inside the gifts are bombshells. We know that inside these gifts are two bombshells, and we had to figure out what they were going to do. It was up to the islanders if the packages are open or returned to sender. And so each person had a slip of paper that had return to sender on it or open the package. And you have to make that decision. The girls were sitting on one side, the guys were sitting on the other side. Well, the let's just say we find out that some people are safe. The power couple was Sydney and Toby. They were the power couple. Um, and they got to sit on the safe bench. And then the other couple that was safe was Johnny and Andrina. So they were safe. So they were sitting on the safe bench, meaning everybody else was vulnerable and on the vulnerable benches. Um, so each guy and each girl got to decide if they wanted to pursue anything with the bombshells or not, including the safe couples. Everybody had to make this decision. So they start down the line. Um, let's see. So Lucinda has the box returned to sender. She doesn't want to mess up anything good. She has with Zay. So her and Isaiah are cool because Isaiah also said return to sender. So they're still vulnerable, but they stay together. Um, Andrea, return to sender. Josh, return to sender. Still vulnerable, but together. Um, Nicola decides to open the sorry y'all. Nicola opens the package and um she opens the package. So she goes and stands next to the gift. Marvin also decides to open the package because they know they didn't have any romantic feelings for anything, so they wanted to explore. So Marvin goes and stands to open the package. No harm, no foul there. Um, so Garby says return. I mean, yeah, return to sender. Kendall also says return to sender, but of course he had to play around and give a little speech that had Garby feeling a little nervous. Um, but they stay together. Vulnerable stays together. Justine says to return to sender because after the conversation they just had and everything, she was like, return to sender. Tyreek has starts giving his speech and saying that there's no trust. And so he's going to open the package, leaving Justine shocked, vulnerable, and very vulnerable. So she's like, I should have known. I should have known not to trust you. I should have known not to trust you. This was all his petty way of getting his lick back on Justine for picking Josh over him. When Justine was just being loyal to Josh because Josh and Justine were in a couple. They were in the couple and she was being loyal. Tyreek was not Tyreek was in the couple with Justine and chose not to be loyal because he was mad that she was being loyal to the couple she was in. Therein lies the difference. Therein lies the difference between the two. Like, come on now. Ugh, Tyreek. Tyreek. We knew he was petty when he scooted away from her on the bench after the whole her picking Josh, but this is just the level of pettiness. It's ridiculous. Like, I like I like drama on TV. I like, foolishness, but this is just like I don't like grown men acting like childish boys. That just does something I don't like it. But so he stands in the on the red carpet waiting for the bombshell to come out. Um and so then we go to Sydney and Toby. And Sydney gives this speech and act like she's going to open the box, but she returns to sender, and Toby does the same. Andreana and Johnny are next. Andreana is like, I'm safe, I'm good, I'm happy, no issues. Um, return to sender. Johnny says that he talked to Andreana, and he told her how their relationship is feeling and he wants to try to do something different. So he decides he's going to open the box. He was already safe. He was already safe. He was safe, and Andreana was safe. Yet he decides to open the box. Now, for game purposes, I get it. I understand. Maybe he wanted to, find a better partner. He has no idea who's in that box. It could be somebody who's worse at challenges than her. It's a risk he was willing to take because he stood up and went in line. And so we have Nicola, the only person standing over for the new bombshell guy. And then we have Marvin, Tyreek, and Johnny standing for the new bombshell girl. And the bombshells are Gabby and Gabby and Casey. Gabby and Casey. If you follow Love Island UK, yes, we just saw them in January. Yes, they were just on Love Island All Stars UK. Yes, they did win. They won together. And yes, they did break up 3 months later. And now they're here. Now they're here. What? What? But they're here. Good on them. So Now, Casey is now coupled with Nicola because she was the only person um, to pick him. Well, only person to pick a guy. So Nicola and Casey are a couple. Good on them. Now, Gabby, on the other hand, has choice options between three guys. And she decides that she is going to pick someone who she thinks is going to be good for her in the game aspect of this because that's what she's here for, the games. And so she's going to pick someone who she feels is going to help her win this game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guessed it. She picks Johnny. Of course she picks Johnny. Why wouldn't she pick Johnny? She picks Johnny, and now Andrena is went from being safe to now vulnerable and out of a couple and single. She went from being in a couple and safe to now being vulnerable and single. Mm, mm, mm. And Tyreek has to go back to Justine, who's fuming with him. And now he's trying to act like he feels bad. He feels bad for the decisions that he made. Mm, mm, you do. After all of this goes down, um, it's kind of icy for a few people. Like Tyreek pulls Justine. She's like, I don't trust you. I can't trust you. He's like, he feels bad. He feels real bad that he did that. Um, he hates that she's vulnerable. Oh, before I move on, because why he feels so bad is because the power couple gets to pick two people who they want to make safe. Um, they want to pick two people who they want to make safe, and so he Toby gets to pick a girl, and Sydney has to pick a guy. And Sydney decides that Toby picks his friend Lucinda. Of course, Toby picks Lucinda. That's what he wants. He picks Lucinda. Hmm. Um, Sydney decides she's going to pick Tyreek to save. And she says she picks Tyreek because her partner, Toby, is in an alliance with Tyreek, and she wants to pick for alliance purposes and alliance purposes only. But then she's sobbing and crying because she's like, she should, after the fact, after it's all over, she's like, I should have picked Marvin. I should have picked Marvin because Marvin shouldn't be in a vote because it is a vote, an America's vote. And she's like, people of America don't know Marvin. And why would they vote for Marvin? And she feels bad because she came in with Marvin, but she's like, I just should have picked him, but I was just going by, strategy in the games and the alliances and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. That's why she picked him. So Tyreek now feels bad because now he's safe. Justine is vulnerable. He, left her out there. And he's like, I feel bad for doing that to you or saying that, because he made it like, how does it feel? Like, basically, I got my lick back. How does it feel to not be picked? And Justine was like, oh, well, that's all we did this for? Petty? Okay. Okay. Sure. Um, Crazy. It was crazy and over that drama anyway. So Justine's telling him she just don't trust him. She's like, because you did that out of spite and out of pettiness and whatever, and I can't trust you. I've told you how I felt, and I told you why I did what I did, and you are choosing not to listen to that. So therefore, it is what it is. I can't trust you. And since I can't trust you, I don't know what we do. And she was like, but congratulations. You got me. We in a couple. Now what? And I was like, good on you, Justine. Like, ugh, this man, pissed me off, pissed me off. Um, what else happened? Andrena, Johnny pulls Andrena, and she's like, this man tells her, oh my God, this man has the nerve to tell her, why don't you look at this as a good thing? You could, you know, she was like, I could be going home because of you. I didn't have to do none of this. Like, if you would have just, and she was like, no, she was like, you are bad. He was like, I know you probably think I'm a bad person. She said, you are a bad person because even if you didn't want to explore things, if you wanted to explore the new bombshell, you could have still did that. You didn't have to make me vulnerable to do that. We could have just, he was like, but I did it for the games. And my thing is, I get it why you did it for the games, but you didn't know who was behind that box when you said yes. You just was gonna go off for anybody and anything. And it could have been somebody who was worse, but you did not even care. You're just like, I just want to get out of this. And she's thinking of more of the romantic side instead of the game side. She's like, if you really want to explore somebody in a better connection, you could have done that and still could have stayed, and I could have still been safe, and therefore I wouldn't have to be put in this situation, um, but and rely on America's vote. And he's like, well, I know you probably think I'm a bad guy. She said, you are. You are. He's like, I mean, that's fine if that's what you think. I'm just trying to, I think you'll be fine. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. I think he was thinking that she would have the votes from America to stay. Therefore, even if he wasn't with her, she would be okay. That's what I think was happening. And guess what, Johnny? Guess what? Guess what, Johnny? You are wrong. You are wrong on every level. Because the next day, um, first of all, shout out to Andrina because the next day she gets up after the conversations and she's annoyed and she's mad. She puts on her revenge bikini, this little red flower bikini number where it barely fits. She puts on her revenge bikini and Johnny's bringing her breakfast deal. He brings her bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich or something. And he gives one to Gabby as well. Um, she's like, okay, whatever. Uh, he is just trying to make whatever right, make it all right with her. But she puts on her revenge bikini after she goes downstairs. And when I tell you, heads was turning left and right, like, oh, shoot, dang. Every boy was looking at Andrina in that moment. Everybody, including Johnny. He couldn't help it. She came downstairs to the kitchen and everybody's like complimenting her bikini. She's like, thank you, thank you. Um, and she's like, Johnny's in the kitchen still at the time. And they're like, what you doing? And she's like, I'm about to make her some pancakes. Knowing Johnny just made her breakfast, she's like, I don't want your stupid bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. I want pancakes. And I'm going to make it right here in front of you and all your friends looking like this. Mm, mm, mm. Baby, it was glorious to see. She did make a effort to go talk to Gabby and let Gabby know that none of her animosity is towards her. She let her know that none of this, the feelings is for her. Is all of that is for Johnny. She has no problem with her. You know, she uh, she just wanted her to know that none of this was her, for her. but she did warn her, like, just know this man is here to play the game, and if you don't match up to his competition level, he will drop you like a bad habit. And Gabby's like, I know this. I know this because guess what? I would do the same to him because I'm here to play said game. So if he did that to me, I would do it to her. And if he tried to do it to me, I would do it to him. So there was that. Um uh what else happened? Oh, one thing that I skipped over really quick, and I'm gonna go back. It was the girls after this whole bombshell situation happened. The girls went back into the room, into the glam room, and they were talking. And Justine was just like, "Listen, we have got to get our heads in the game. These guys are playing, and they playing the game, and we have got to get our head in the game because they playing us, and we cannot be played." She was trying to rally the girls like we have to start playing. We got to use our heads and thinking about this stuff because they are running and we just letting them do whatever they want to do and we just not doing nothing. And you know what because I always say this, sometimes you can't tell all girls everything because some girls are very male centered. And you know who that is this season? Lucinda. Girl. Because why she run right out after that whole thing and tell Isaiah, Justine was in there trying to get the girls together because you know about the boys are running the game and blah, 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 blah. Why'd you feel the need to say that? Why would you tell him that? Why would you tell him, a guy, that the girls was trying to come together so the guys can't play? Girl. Now I know it's only one girl and one guy that's going to win this game. I get that too. But you've got to get to the end. You got to get there. And you can't get there by yourself and with this just that guy. You need allies. You need people who are going to be on your side. And who's going to be on your side? They know you talk too much and just saying everything. Child, I don't know. I don't know. But girl, whatever. So anyway, going back, we have the we have all the couples are now supposed to meet by the fire pit to talk to get the on the bleachers. They had to meet on the bleachers. They had to meet on the bleachers. That's what it was, not the fire pit. Meet on the bleachers. And they find out they have a challenge today. And Gabby and Johnny and Nicola and Casey are the um oh wait, no. I'm skipping to this whole thing. I'm doing a whole different thing. We do have a duel. We find out that who are going to be in the duel, which is going to be Andreina versus Gabby and Kendall versus Marvin. Because America's votes kept Justine and Andrea safe and Isaiah and Josh safe. So we have the duel. We have people get ready for the duel. We see Johnny pumping up Andrina, talking about some you can do this. You just gotta really, he feels bad that she's in the duel because he thought America was gonna do it. But yeah, Johnny, you were wrong. He thought America was gonna pull her to stay. After we watched her lose the duel, um, be stuck on you, be falling all over the floor for you, watch you dump her, literally, and make her vulnerable. You want us to keep her in the game so she can continue to get hurt by you? Because from what I was hearing online, everybody was like, we want Andrea to leave this villa because this man is constantly trying to hurt her. He's constantly trying to get at her and make her feel bad. And we don't want her to feel bad anymore. So people didn't vote for her. Um, so they have this duel. And he's like, think of it as this. You can fight your way back to come get me back. Andrea was like, come get you back. He's like, even if it's a FU, she's like, oh no, it is FU after this. Like, there is no after this with us. There is none of that. Is FU all day, all day long. And he's like, I mean, I don't know what this man thinking, why he thinks she's going to want to come back to you after you embarrassed her like this in front of everybody. No, absolutely not. Um, but we have the duel, and everybody's getting pumped up and getting ready for it. Let's just get into it because this is a duel, a classic Love Island games, if 2 seasons. But they had this duel last season, and it was one of my favorite duels last season. I will just say it was good, but it didn't live up to what I wanted from last season. This season was nice. It was good, but I was more interested in the girls' duo than I was in the boys' duo. So there's that. Um, but in the first duel, we did have Andrena versus Garby in the duel. And it was the classic go, you'll be blindfolded and you have bells on you, and you have to rip the tags off your opponent. But you, like I said, you're blindfolded, so you have to go in and try to feel your way around and make sure you see them. And this was a duel. This was a really good duel. We started off, and Gabby takes off like a lightning. 2 wins to Andrena's 0, 2-0. It's best out of 5, and so Gabby is up 2-0 in the first 2 rounds. And so then on the third round, Andrena wins, so she's up, and she's like, if she can get 2, I can get 3. And I was like, work, mama. So the fourth round, Andrena wins again, and it's 2-on-2, 2-2, and so now Kendall's freaking out because he doesn't want Garby to lose. People are getting excited for Andrena because she had been down on herself about her skills in the competitions. And so it's very tense. It's very tense between the two. And I was upset and sad because I really like these two. I really wanted both of them to stay. But somebody was going to leave. And eventually, the last round came down to mere seconds. Like they both pulled the tags off in mere seconds. But Garby was the one who pulled it off first. And so, therefore, Garby is the winner. And Angelina has taken her last turnaround in the villa, unfortunately. And now Johnny's looking all sad. He's very sad because this is not what he wanted. This isn't what he wanted. He didn't want her to go. He just didn't want to be her partner anymore. And I was like, if you didn't want her to go, you shouldn't have made her vulnerable. But okay, Johnny. All right. Um, then the next duel was Kendall and Marvin's duel. And it was the same. Kendall get 2, Marvin then gets 2, and we have a tie going into the last round. But in the end, Kendall wins the duel. Kendall is the winner, and Marvin and Andrina are dumped from the villa. And the sad thing, it was wait, this was so crazy because this is how they edited this so weird because I didn't even know Marvin had some beef with Johnny about his decision. We didn't see him talk to him about it, nothing. But when Ariana asked Marvin how you feel about things, which lets me know that they talked about it. Marvin has talked about it in confessionals, but they didn't feel the need to put that on the show. But when Ariana asked him about how he feels about everything, he says he feels betrayed by some people. And it was Johnny because Johnny did not have to get up. He was already safe. And if he didn't get up and was already and just stayed where he was with Andrina, neither one of them would be going home. So this is the fault of Johnny on both of their parts. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that, but yes. Because if Johnny didn't get up, the bombshell would have had to pick between Marvin and Tyreek. And I think Gabby probably would have picked Marvin, and Marvin would have been safe. But Johnny was there, and Johnny, of course, is Superman. And he's and she wants to win, so she picks Johnny, causing Marvin now to be single because Nikolai is now taken and vulnerable. Same for Andrina, who was single and vulnerable. And now they both end up in the duel and they both lose. So all this goes back to is Johnny's fault. It's all Johnny's fault. And Johnny's like, come on, bro. He's like, nah, because you did what you did. You ain't think. He was like, I wasn't thinking about that. He said, that's the problem. You not thinking about that. You just thinking about your own selfish nature and the fact that you just wanted, you didn't care if you were going to make other people single and say vulnerable. You were just worried about yourself and you were already safe. Like you didn't need to get up. You were already safe. And so Andrea is just like, yep, She amen. She is amen corner, like, absolutely, yeah, right, you did. And so Marvin, I was just like, oh, I didn't even know Marvin was pissed off about it, but he was. Um, Johnny was asked about how he felt about Andrea. He was like, I didn't want this to happen, but I don't regret my decisions, yada yada yada. Um, Andrea had already told the girls what Johnny had said about his intentions and everything being true, and his feelings were real for her, and he wanted to maybe try this stuff outside and all of this stuff, but the competition was where his head was at, and blah blah blah. Um, so of course that didn't sit well with Gabby either, hearing that, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, that was a little moment that they were not happy with. Marvin wasn't happy with Johnny, and I was like, oh shoot, okay then. Didn't see that, but okay then. Um, so they are dumped. Johnny talks to Andrea one last time. She's like, it's whatever. You did what you did. And yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. I'm just gonna go. They leave. So they leave. It is what it is. Next episode we see who's which conversation should I go to first? Uh Tyreek is trying to make amends for what he did to Justine because she's still very annoyed with him, like very pissed off. Everybody's mad or not mad, but no cuddling was too much happening the night before, except certain people. But everybody was just like, all right, chill. Um, but he makes her breakfast. He makes her breakfast, and this is a nice breakfast. She's like, sure. Everybody does what they do. Morning routines happen. Breakfast is being made. People are getting ready. Typical, typical things. We see the conversation with Nicola and Casey and their new couple, and they just they don't haven't had any romantic sparks, just good, fun friendship, fun vibes. Like they have a good time. He laughs, she laughs. He says she cracks him up. And like I said, Nicola's gonna be that girl that's just so sweet. She's always sweet. She's gonna be sweet until the end. She's gonna be sweet. Casey is just like, there's not much. We just laugh, we just talk, no romantic anything, nothing. Not the same with his ex, with Gabby and Johnny, who have a conversation and they're talking, and he's like, I'm sorry that, you feel all this is because of me, all this tension and, things like that. And she brings up the fact that Andrina had said that he told her that the feelings that he had was real. And he was like, I said my intentions were real when I was with her. I was fully giving my all with her. Um, it's just that it wasn't what he wanted. Um, it could, it didn't match up to what he wanted. Eventually, when it all boils down to it, and he did want to see her go, but that's the game, and he's not. And he asked her, "What did Gabby want from this?" And she was like, "To win." And he said, "What did you want from us?" And she was like, "I mean, fun." So they have established that they're going to be fun and flirty, and they're here for the win. They're trying to win the game, and but if they can kiss along the way and have a good time, sure, why not? If any sexual happens, then it is what it is. Um, yeah, so that was them. Uh, we see Tyreek can try to have another conversation with Justine, and she's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about you. I don't know if I trust you. And she was like, is this what we doing? Is this we just what we one upping each other the entire time? You could see she kind of likes him, which I'm just like, oh, Justine. No. But she kind of likes him, but she kind of just like, she knows that she can't fully trust what he says. And it's hard to let what he just did go, which I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. Um, she is just weary with him, and she's like, "Because you wanted me to open up, and the moment I do, this is what you do." And he's still apologizing. He's like, "I'm sorry that I hurt you. That's not, I shouldn't have done that." Blah blah blah. They're getting into this. They do end up kissing, and I'm just like, Justine, I want to support you. I do, but I don't know if I can support you with this man. I mean, I will always support her. Let me not be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Justine can do no wrong for me. I will always support her. I love that girl. I think she's amazing, and I will always support her. Um, but I'm like, do what you gotta do is get to the end, girl. Do what you gotta do to get to the end, and then as soon as somebody else comes, better drop them like a bad habit. Get them out of here. Like, it's just love it if that happened. But oh, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Um, let's see. They end up kissing, whatever. Anything else happened before? Nope. Let's go right to the challenge because the challenge happens, and there is a team challenge that we find out that Nicola and Casey and Johnny and Gabby are the captains, and they get to choose their teams. And it doesn't have to be couples; just choose their teams. So here are the teams as chosen by the captains. So Nicola and Casey pick Josh first. Let me move this off so you can see everyone. Um, if you haven't scanned that QR code, go and scan it real quick before I take it away. Um, but yeah, trying to take it off, but it's taking its time going off. But anyway, the the uh, yeah. So the teams are you pick Josh, and then they picked Justine, and then they picked uh Kendall, Garby, and Sydney, while Johnny and Garby picked Tyreek, Andrea, Isaiah, um, Toby, and Lucinda. So they were going to run these um, things in heats. and one person had to do it in teams of two. They had to do it in teams of two, and one person was going to do it on their own. And each team got to pick the other team's person who was going to have to do it by themselves and just go off of time. And then whoever's from that person has their time will be doubled. Um, so uh, Gabby and Casey, Gabby and Johnny was together at their team because you couldn't pick the captains. The captains stayed together and did it for their teams. But Josh ran his with Justine. Um, Kendall and Garby ran theirs together, so Sydney had to do it by herself. Um, Tyreek and Toby did it together with not Josh, Andrea and Isaiah did it together, and then leaving Lucinda to do it on her own. And so Lucinda's and Sydney's time will be doubled. Um, so there's how it went. So the heats went as follows. Josh and Justine went against Toby and Tyreek in the second round. The first round was Nicola and Casey versus um, Isaiah and Andrea. The second round was Toby and Tyreek against Josh and Justine. The third round was Kendall and Garby versus Johnny and Gabby. Nicola and Casey won their round first. They beat Isaiah and Andrea. Um, Toby and Tyreek went against Justine and Josh, and they beat them. The third was Kendall and Garby versus Johnny and Gabby, and Johnny and Gabby, Kendall and Gabby, Garby. Ugh, so many of these. But so Johnny and Gabby beats Kendall and Garby by close, very close. And then it was Lucinda beats Sydney in the end. So in the end, after all the numbers were tallied, the losing team, remember, the losing team is going to be vulnerable. The winning teams are going to be safe. And the winning team was Team Johnny and Gabby. Mm-hmm. Those are your winning teams. Good on them. Good on them. They win. They're excited. The other team, not so excited. Not so excited at all. They're very sad, very bitter. But the other teams are very happy. And they're like, yes, we won. Woo. Other teams, not so happy. Not so happy at all. And so everybody gets ready for the night. We see the winning team celebrating a little bit more throughout. The losing team very bitter, very annoyed. We see Andrea talking to Josh, who's very upset because they came in last place. Um, he was just like, I didn't perform as well. I just didn't do as good as I thought I wanted to do in this challenge. It just was very bad. So he's feeling very down. She's trying to comfort him, but she can't. She wants, she's happy that she's safe, but she's sad that he's not. Um, Tyreek feels this. He's sad for Justine, but he's not really that sad. Cause he's like, I don't know. Um, but Gabby and Johnny goes off to the dock to talk, and then they get a text to say you need to gather your squad, the power squad, together secretly to and wait in the bedroom for further instructions. So they're like, okay. So they go and gather their squad. They go grab everybody and tell them to go meet them in the bedroom. And they get to the bedroom and find out that they are a power squad, and they have to now four people, two boys, two girls, to go into a duel, and they have all the power. And so the other squad are noticing that, where is everybody? And they're like, are they plotting against us? Yep, they absolutely are. They're plotting against him. And so that's what we leave off with, the power squad trying to discuss who they are going to put against who. Now, me personally think they're probably going to put Josh and Kendall against each other, because I think that's who Johnny, Tyreek, and Toby want to go. Um, the girls, I'm thinking probably Sydney and Gabby, Garby, maybe, maybe Justine, because Johnny wants Justine not to be there. I'm not sure, but it's going to be very, very interesting. I don't think they're going to put Nicola up because it doesn't make any sense, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The first look shows that they're not happy and that they have to seal this deal with a kiss. Once they make up their mind, they have to seal it with a kiss. So that's even extra dirty, extra dirty. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to be back here tomorrow to talk about tonight's episode. We're back on track. We're back on track. The schedule is back where it's supposed to be. We're going to continue to keep up with our soul ties. It's crazy live, back on schedule on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're going to be back. We're back on schedule. We are back on schedule. Don't you worry. We're back. But come check us out for our Soul Ties is Crazy Live. And we're going to continue to do what we do. We appreciate you joining us today. I definitely appreciate you. Please come back and join us again late tomorrow. Follow us on all of our socials. Follow us on all of our podcasts. Subscribe to this channel and all of our channels. Hit the Patreon. Do the socials. Do our audio podcast links. Truly, truly appreciate you. And get your cup mug. And we will see you next. We'll see you tomorrow. So, cheers, y'all. Bye.